Hey, good morning, everybody. Lots to discuss today. It's going to be a shortened session because it's Friday right before Thanksgiving, and we all got to get on the road someplace. So here's what I'm looking for today. Numbers coming out. 8:30 right now. You've got durable goods coming out. Not so important. More important, 9:45. PMI, which is manufacturing numbers. Germany reported yesterday they basically came in line. However, they were below the 50% mark, which means recession is likely in Germany right now. Our numbers are coming in. They're probably going to come in around 52 to 55. We'll see. Again, anything under 50 is bad for your economy. And then 2 p.m., we've got the Fed minutes from the last Fed meeting. Again, it's just the minutes. It's not a new Fed announcement. It's them recapping the last meeting. So that's what we got on schedule today. 8:30 durable goods, 9:45 PMI could move the market. 10 a.m. we have consumer confidence, and then 2 p.m. we have the PMI. Now I've mentioned this the past few days. Do not rush when making a trade. There's always enough time to make a trade. Understand, when you rush, you're paying too much money. Let it come to you. That's the key word. Let it come to you. Okay. Next, always make time to focus on your trades. If you're rushing around and you're like in the car and you're checking your phone, you're like, oh shit, I'm going to buy some of these options. That's wrong. There's no strategy associated with that. There's no planning associated with that. You're hoping you pick the right entry because you happen to be in the car, whether you're off from work and it's lunchtime, whether you just dropped off your kids or whatever it is. You need time to plan. Okay, I'm going to go over my indicators, which I mentioned yesterday. Now, I used to watch the XLV, which is the healthcare industry, because there was a rotation. I've mentioned for the past couple of weeks, I've been watching XLI, which are the industrials, which are stocks like Cleveland Cliff, AA, US Steel, which I mentioned is my tracker, XLI. Now, as you can see, it's gone from 97 over 100. It doesn't move a lot in any given day. But as it was consolidating and going higher, it told me the market was going higher. So I'm going to talk about the SPY and why I believe the market was going higher yesterday and why I believed we were going to break through. But first, I just want to bring up my trades because I'm going to talk about my best and worst trade of the day. Okay. So let me bring it up for you. Let me just go. We're gone to Discord. Okay. So I had Apple. Here's the Apple. Here we go. All right, here's the Apple options that I sold, right? I sold them for $1.59. I was in for $1.12. So I made a good $800 to $900 on the trade. Now, why is it also my best trade? Because as I mentioned, if the SPY was going to break 397.80, which it did yesterday, then Apple should have gone higher. So I wasn't sure the SPY was going to break 397.80. We've seen it reject there 3 times. It's a supply zone. I mentioned that in full force yesterday. I only changed my tune after I sold my Apple options. They went down, and I was like, man, I wish I didn't sell them. I wish I should re-enter. And as I was trying to re-enter, Apple was going up, and I'm like, I'm not going to chase. There's no guarantee I'm going to be correct. But that was my best and worst trade. Best, I made a quick 40%. Worst part about it is I left 100% on the table. Now, the good news is I went into another bullish trade. I call this one my Lotto trade. Let me see if I can bring it up. It's going to be on Discord as well. So let's just go down. Hold on, let's scroll down here. Okay, right here. Okay, so I purchased some Plantier options on Friday. I paid $24 for a contract, paid $28 for a contract. I had 2 contracts in, right? This contract went as low as $14. Now at 700, at 710 on Palantir, I paid $20. I paid the ask right here. I bought another 51 contracts. So it's $1,000 lotto. Understand, I was looking for Plantier to cross over 750. I'm looking for over 100% on this trade, but that's how you enter lottos. You're looking for the bottom. Now, understand, Palantir went under 7 yesterday. So there's a chance, or maybe it was the day before, there's a chance those options could have went down and my position would have been worthless. But I know my downside. My downside is 53 contracts, a little over $1,060 was my downside. My upside potential, if Palantir decides to run and we have a green day because the SPY broke 398 yesterday and it continues, and we also have Friday, which should be low volume, and there could be some good movement on low volume. I could return 100, 200, 300% if I'm right. Now, if I'm wrong, I could hopefully get out, maybe lose 50%. But I look to be right. There was inflow in Palantir yesterday. As long as the market stabilizes and pushes higher today to a 401 on the SPY or something to that extent, again, I could get a solid return on that. So let me actually see if we can talk about the SPY. I'm going to see if I can add trading view to it. Let's see if we can add that on. We can talk about the SPY range today. Here we go. Add it to stream. Okay, perfect. So let's go over here and we'll talk about the SPY. Now, as you can see, let me blow it up so you can really see it. I'm using the 5-minute chart. All right, let me get back here. Here we go. Get rid of that big advertisement they like to put. Now, as you can see, end of day, massive volume. So even though we were at 399, there was massive volume supporting that. Understand, institutions, I mentioned, trade the beginning of the day and the end of the day with massive volume. And that's what you could see, what I'm showing you right here. Let's go back to the 1 hour because you can go back to yesterday. Here we go. Boom, 1. Here we go. 2, end of day 3. Beginning of day 4, you can see the volume at the beginning and end of day. So that's kind of what I expect. So what can we see at market open? Well, we can see the same thing we saw yesterday. Let's all remember what we saw yesterday, okay? Market opened, big drop, right? That's when I got into my Apple. I'm like, Apple looks good, $1.50 per contract. Then it went all the way down to $1.01 per contract. I averaged down at like $1.06, $1.12. I bought some more. So my goal on Apple was under 147. And I said, if the market turns green, Apple could go to like 150, 151. It would make my options worth $4 a contract. So I wasn't positive that was going to happen. If someone told me we're going to be bullish all day yesterday, even though that was my intention, I would have held my Apple. But again, what do? We secure profits. Why? Because it's a smaller account. Anytime you have a smaller account, unless your strategy is, I'm going to hold these 2 contracts or 13 contracts or whatever you have until this price point, ride or die kind of mentality, which is not the best for trading, because ride and die mentality means you could ride the elevator up and down, and instead of securing profit at the top, you could drop down to the bottom. All right, so we'll talk about some SPY ranges in just 1 second. I gave you guys my tracker. I told you my best and worst trade of the day was Apple. I told you make time to focus. Don't rush any of your trades. In fact, the don't rush goes for anything in life. I used to be a rusher. I used to be trying to be most efficient as possible. So I want to get from point A to point Z as quick as possible. I want to do whatever task is allotted to me as quick as possible. It's a lot of stress. You're adding stress to your life. So please, just don't rush. You're late for Thanksgiving? Don't rush. You're late for something else? Don't rush. You're buying a trade? Don't rush. You're selling a trade. Always 5-minute rule for me. If I'm going to sell a trade, I wait 5 minutes and I'll just wait to see if I can get a better price, because generally when I sell, the stock or ETF, whatever I'm trading, goes up. So that's what I talked about. Next, I spoke about Tesla yesterday. I'm going to speak about Tesla again. Why? Because Tesla's forward PE is at like 40, or maybe it's even 41 today, because Tesla looks up pre-market. Their forward PE. Understand, when I shot my video months ago, Tesla's forward PE was 72. And I said Tesla's valuation was too rich and it would come down. Well, it's finally at 40. At 40, I could easily see them push Tesla's forward PE up to 52. So if it was to go up to 52, you're looking at like an 8 or 9 point rise in Tesla. If we have a green market and the SPY pushes higher, and I'm about to get to the SPY, then Tesla's going to push higher. We know that Tesla, Apple, Google, Amazon, they happen to lead the SPY. They lead the markets. Okay, next, let's get right into the SPY. Now, what I spoke about and showed you guys charts about for a number of days dating back to last Friday was the bottom end on the SPY, or the support. So going back to last Friday, we were at 394, Monday, 393, Tuesday, 394, Wednesday, 393, going back like a week and a half, actually. And then we saw a bottom, I believe it was yesterday morning, 392.70. Again, support at 393. Maybe it was 2 days ago. Support at 393, which tells me the market was consolidating only to push higher. And if you use my tracker, which is the XLI, you'll see the industrials were pushing higher. And as there's a rotation and industrials are still strong, the market will still be strong. That was my strategy. That is what I share with you. So let's talk about the SPY, okay? I mentioned support, 393, 394. Resistance, which I mentioned a number of times for a number of days because I use the dark pool, If you don't know about the dark pool, you'll have to. Let me see if I can share. Oh, I can't share that with you. Okay, dark pool. It's where there's excess supply or excess demand. It tells you where there'll be support or will there be rejection. So the dark pool has huge SPY orders at 397.80, which is why I mentioned for a number of days we went past 397.80 on Monday pre-market when we were sitting at 398. What did we do right away? We rejected 398. Okay. And then we ended up dropping back down to the 393 level. So yesterday's resistance becomes today's support. Do you understand? 398. Let's just round up. We'll round up 20 cents. 398, which was resistance for a number of days, at least 6, maybe a couple more. All right. Has now turned into support. As we pass that, it's likely, even if the market contracts and we're sitting right at 400, let's say it goes down, it could drop 50.5% on the SPY. We could see 398 and then you'd see a quick bounce higher. But I showed you all the volume that was buying yesterday in the last 10 minutes of the market when the SPY was sitting at 399 and change. So downside, okay, 398 on the SPY. That will be your support. If you break support SPY, you're looking at 396 to 395, okay? Not a whole hell of a lot of a range down, maybe 1% on the SPY. Still a bad day if there's outflow. However, if we see the support at 398, and again, we're sitting at 400, and we can go up from 400, the next level higher to break is 401. If you look at the dark pool, and I got to show it to you. How can I not show you guys this? So please, be patient. Let me remove this. Let me stop sharing. I'm going to go back to Discord. I'm going to show you what the dark pool levels look like on the SPY. Why? Because it's crazy important that you understand how trading is done and what's going on and why I say there's excess supply or excess demand at certain levels. So let's get it nice and big. Let me go here. To get to the dark pool, I will go and I will use the Flow and Algos room, the channel. So I'll click on that and go all the way down because I already searched the dark pool. And here it is. And blow it up nice and big. Make sure you guys can see it. You can. Okay, so let's look at the dark pool. What we're seeing is at 397.23, I call it 397.80. There is $36 billion of transactions right here. Under that, if you look, you're looking at 393. So when I told you for weeks we have support at 393, and yes, we dropped to 392.70, I knew this because the dark pool is really heavy here. This was a demand zone. This 36 billion was a supply zone. We broke it yesterday for a number of days. People that were unloading the SPY at 397 and change, they're unloading. They're finally out. When they're finally out of unloading the SPY at 397, 398, what happens? It pushes higher. So it's a key level. 397 and change, I say 80, 397.80 is a key level. If we keep above 397.80, this market is going higher. We are going to see a Christmas rally. So again, downside, bear case scenario, we see it breaks support at 398 and you'll see 395. That's the downside. The upside is, okay, 398 is going to hold us support. 401 is the next level higher. As we go higher from 401, you'll see 405. That's the next level on the SPY. So if I was expecting the market to reject anything today, it would be when the SPY hits 405.20, 405.25, something just over 405. And I would look for the market to come down. So if I'm in bullish or call positions, I'm going to hold on to my positions till we get really close to 405. And then I'm going to say, take profit, Matt. All right. So with that said, those are the SPY levels. Well, if you pass 405, you're going to see rejection at 409. That could be for next week sometime, assuming still a bullish case scenario. Again, today, PMI 945, consumer sentiment from Michigan, 10 a.m., Fed notes from last week at 2 p.m. All right, let's get to some questions today because I know we all have busy days right before Thanksgiving. And please, everything is algorithm. So please hit the like button. I see somebody made a comment on the side. Hit the like button. If you want to join our Discord and get these videos where I give updates on the market, hey, it's topping out, it's going to go down. Hey, it's bottom, it's going to go up. Please, it's easy to join. Thank you, Mr. Matt. Thought on Fed minutes. Yes, here we go. Fed minutes is Fed notes from their last meeting. So their last meeting where we had the Fed come out and they sort of led to a pivot and the market went higher. Then the next day, the Fed came out and Powell spoke and Bullard spoke and Maynard spoke. And they said, no, we're still extremely hawkish. And the markets went down. All we're going to see is the Fed minutes from what they discussed. And it's not going to be anything new. Now, if the Fed was going to come on and make a new announcement, then yes, it could be more volatility. But other than that, the market told you direction yesterday. It passed 398. Now, nothing goes straight up. So it easily could consolidate and bounce to 398 and play. If it's a narrow range inside day, it could be a narrow range, meaning SPY 398 to 401. And that's it. It just trades in between those ranges. Again, bearish day, it would break 398 to the downside. Bullish day, it's going to pass 401. So even if it passes 401, goes to 402, it's going to be on its way to 405 next week. That's what that would be telling me. All right, next question, please. All right, jobless claims. How will that impact the Fed? Okay, so it's interesting. The Fed wants people to lose their jobs. Simple as that. They want people to be fired from their jobs. If unemployment goes up, that means the Fed is doing their job. If unemployment numbers are still strong, that will mean the Fed still has to be hawkish. Now, what I look at rather than job numbers is I look at the 2-year, the 10-year, and the U.S. dollar. Now, I haven't mentioned that in a couple of days because I thought everybody was getting tired of it. But I'm going to mention the 2-year rate. We're up above 454. No massive movement right now, 456. The 10-year is around 377. Again, 378. No massive movement. On the U.S. dollar, again, it's under 107. So if the U.S. dollar was going up, say it was 108 today, I would say red day in the market. The 2-year, the 10-year, the U.S. dollar going up. But that's not it. The 2-year and 10-year going up minorly. And the U.S. dollar actually looks like it's going down, okay? It did spike, and it spiked to 107.20 a few times overnight in the past couple hours. But right now it's closer to 106.80, which tells me the markets could get stronger. Let's get another question, everybody. Okay. What do I think about Tesla? It somehow runs by itself. PM today. Okay. So again, I spoke about Tesla. I made a video. When Tesla was $300, I was like, it's crazy overpriced. And it still had demand. Now that Tesla's probably like $168, $170, I could totally see institutions buying the stock for the long run. So let me just see if I find where Tesla is right now. Yeah, 169. Okay, it's up to 172 pre-market. I mean, I wouldn't be buying it all the way up to 175 pre-market, but at 170, which is still $2 lower, if it were to come down or even turn red today, sure, I would love to get into a longer-term Tesla position. Again, that's what I mentioned. Next couple questions. Am I still in my Google Play? Yes. So my Google Play was earlier this week. I think I took the $96. I'm doing this from the top of my head. The $96 options. I think I paid $230 or so a contract. It went all the way down to $1.30. So I was off like 40-something%. Then Google went up yesterday. So again, I'm still holding those because they go out till next week. And the presumption with Google was the SPY is going to go up. If it breaks 400, it's going to see 405, 409. If that happens, then Google's going to go up. Amazon's going to go up. We're going into the end of the year or Christmas rally. So yes, I'm still in my Google Play. I do see we have a thoughts on Meta. So Meta is interesting. I know a lot of Twitter people are so bearish on Meta. However, Meta is going to move with Apple, Google, Amazon, Netflix. They're all going to move together. We still have the FANG moving together. We still have tech moving together. Thoughts on Meta? Here's the interesting thing. If you understand, let me see if I can actually pull this up because I looked at Meta because I saw a lot of people talking about Meta. So I believe that's the last stock that I looked at right here. So here's the unusual flow for Meta. Can you guys see that with me? Yes, I made it nice and big. So the unusual flow talks about the largest positions that are like surprise positions for Meta. So you can see they're all puts. They all paid the ask. These were all done yesterday from 12 p.m. until about 2 p.m. You're talking about premiums of 44 million, 41 million, 35 million, 25 million. So these positions tell me two things. Number one, Meta is going down. Okay, if Meta goes down, then the rest of the market has to go down too, probably. That's an assumption. Probably is correct. Or nobody ever mentions this. Those could easily be hedges. Now, if a hedge fund has $300 million worth of Meta stock, which is likely Meta has a valuation probably of like $1 trillion. So there are going to be hedge funds that are heavily invested. Same with Tesla, Amazon, Google, Apple, etc. What is it? Warren Buffett or was it Berkshire Hathaway? One of those owns like a ridiculous amount of Apple in their portfolio. I think like it's 5 to 7% of their portfolio, which is a massive amount of money. So these could easily be hedges against Meta. As Meta is going up, they have downside protection. So that's my thoughts on Meta. Again, if I'm not sure because I think it's hedge versus market strength, I stay away. I'm looking for a stock that has inflow. I'm looking for a stock that has demand because as I've been talking about for the past 2 weeks, what have they been doing? Every time the market goes down, it finds support. So I'm doing the same in my trade. I'm looking for the bottoms of my trades. I'm looking for, okay, it's 1050. This option went down here. I'm going to wait. It rebounds a little, and then it goes down even lower. That's my entry point. Okay, let's get into any other questions. I don't really see them. No, everybody, happy Thanksgiving. Yes, so please, everybody, enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday. Again, 2 things to remember, trading or otherwise. Make time to focus. If you're focusing on your family, if you're focusing on cooking, if you're focusing on driving, if you're focusing on investing, just make time. Don't jump in or out of anything. Sometimes people like to flip their positions. Oh, I'm bullish. Now I'm bearish. Now I'm bullish again. That's crazy talk. How can you decide all that in such a short period of time? And again, don't rush. Don't rush with your investments. That's most important. Let it come to you. With that said, I guess we're good. And I will see everybody on Monday morning. Let's do it on Monday. Have a great day. Join me on Discord if you're interested.